gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. You look good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. Tuesday, September 16th. Thank you guys for joining us a little late today. A little afternoon show on a Tuesday. Some radio responsibilities to attend to this morning in Iowa City. So kind of launching here at 1 o'clock, kind of catching up on some fun stuff. A full show once again, as always. If you're watching us live on YouTube, we appreciate that. Thank you for that. If you've subscribed, thank you. If you have not, shame on you. Get subscribed ASAP. Tell a friend or two or 10 about what we're doing each and every day, each and every weekday, around 10 a.m., normally 10 a.m. Today, 1 p.m. here in the afternoon. We're also live on X. X has been very good to us, so if you are watching us on X, we appreciate that as well. And then also you can check out the show each and every day on the podcasting platforms as well. Spotify, Podbean, Apple, you name it. iHeart, you name it. Wherever you get your podcast, put in Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. You can check out the show there as well, and thank you for those everydayers who do it every single day. I see it, I love it. We appreciate the downloads are up on the podcasting side of things as well. So thank you for supporting the show, however you take it, whether it's looking at my ugly self or just listening to it. Either way, it helps us out a ton. Speaking of ugly. Coming up in a matter of moments, Tom Kakert will be with us live from Kinnick Stadium. He's up in the press box. They're in between media sessions today. That's where I was at earlier with the players. We'll get Tom's take on what he learned today from players as we get ready for Rutgers and kind of put to bed the Kirk Ferentz record as we continue to build on that. Maybe Friday at Rutgers as well. Coming up later on in this hour, we'll have our weekly chat with Pat Angerer, kind of the same thing, just kind of looking at Kirk Ferentz as a whole, and then also Rutgers coming up sooner than you think. It's a short week here for the Hawkeyes, a Friday night, 7 p.m. start here in the Quad Cities, and of course 8 p.m. out east as well. And then later on in the show, Larry Hawley, a good friend of mine, our Chicago expert. We'll talk Bears, we'll talk Cubs getting close to clinching a playoff spot, which should never be taken for granted, if that makes any sense. And then also talk a little Illini with them as well. As I mentioned, some radio stuff today up in Iowa City. Got to chat with Drew Stevens. You'll hear that in our Inside the Huddle segment coming up on the Hawkeye Tailgate Show. We're going to be live from Big Grove Brewery, 5 p.m. in Iowa City on Friday. Great show lined up. Hoping to have a pretty big guest that we can talk about maybe tomorrow on the show. We'll let you kind of think on that and make sure we get it confirmed before we rock and roll with those kind of things. But the Hawkeye Tailgate Show, make sure you check it out here locally in the Quad Cities. It's on Vintage Radio, 107.7 FM. So the new home of the Hawkeye Radio Network here in the Quad Cities. Some news and notes from yesterday real quick. Oh, I should say, before we get moving any further, Off the Air is going to go on the road on Friday. We're heading to Assumption. Assumption celebrating their dome team from 20 years ago. They host West. The Knights just got their first victory of the season, so we'll go visit Wade King and Nate Gilbreth and company on Friday with our friends from Mobile Party Experience as well. So that should be a ton of fun. Baseball, Cubs win last night. We'll talk about that with Larry Hawley in a little bit. Monday Night Football doubleheader. It was the Bucks coming back and winning, and the Chargers go to 2-0 on the season as well. Well, let's get things rocking and rolling. And I know this guy's a busy guy this time of year, especially on a Tuesday. So to sneak to the radio booth, are you sitting where Corey Sheets normally sits? Be honest.
I am not.
Why?
Employee of the week.
Yes. That's where I would be. If I could be anywhere, it'd be in this seat of Corey Sheets. Tommy, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. I know it's a busy Tuesday.
It's good to be on. It's good to be on all ears.
I love
it. It's good to be on all ears.
I could tell you had a little extra swagger to you today. So I love that. Tuesdays in Iowa City are always busy. We get players around 11. Kirk is 1:45, I believe. So in between the two. So you're over at Kinnick Stadium in the press box working hard or hardly working, whatever you guys do. What did you learn this morning? What did you take anything away from talking to some players this morning as we kind of move on from history and get ready for a short week and Rutgers coming up on Friday?
Yeah, I think everything is just normal for them. They just move everything up a day, and I think the players are ready to go. They'll be ready. They'll adjust. It was fun. Here's a funny note. Talking to TJ Hall, one of the Iowa cornerbacks, and obviously everybody knows they do not have an interception yet this year. And if you remember in the past, they've had these shirts, the Doughboys, because they, looked at those interceptions as making money kind of things. And apparently associate head coach and linebackers coach Seth Wallace has taken to calling them the No Boys.
Okay.
Because they have no interceptions. So a little challenge from Coach Wallace. Poking a little fun at the fact that they don't have any interceptions yet this year. Talked to Gronowski for a little bit. He said one thing that was interesting, and I don't think this is totally unique to Iowa because every team probably does it, but that he specifically talked about like UMass last week, how they played cover 4 coming out, and Iowa burned them right away and scored a touchdown on 3 plays, and including 2 big pass plays. And so they were ready for that. But then they went a little bit after that, they went to playing cover 3, which they had not played anywhere on any film in their first 2 games.
Wow.
So now they have to like junk what they're doing. And they said that's kind of been the norm now, is that teams are doing, they're not showing anything that they've had on film at that point. So what he talked about was like that process. Then they have to go readjust the game plan. And, now they're going from doing one thing to doing another. It's not part of the plan, so they didn't practice these things, but it's plays that they've worked on. So it's kind of an adjustment on the fly for them on offense, which I thought was at least somewhat interesting. We talked to KJ Parker about his touchdown catch, and he was pretty excited about talking about that, but also said he's had some drops, and he just thinks maybe a little anxious sometimes, and just have to bounce back with them and flush them. We talked to Reese Dakin and Drew Stevens, both who had kind of up and down days, and Reese got blocked on a punt, and he didn't want to single anybody out, but it seemed like there was some issues in the blocking up front. But and it should be noted, Rutgers has blocked 3 punts this year.
Oh, wow.
So they're going to come after it. So that's something they're going to have to pay attention to. And he said they'll certainly be working on it this week. He doesn't have any concerns about this week. He feels like they'll be fine. And Drew Stevens, he had kind of an up and down day, a weird day. He hits a 54-yarder that would have been good from probably 65. And I asked him when he hits one of those, and he kind of made the analogy that it's like hitting a really good tee shot. He, as you know, Matt, he's a big golfer.
He is.
Loves to golf.
Yes.
Golfed in the Matt Randazzo, the Guy Randazzo golf outing.
No memorial golf outings for me yet, but go on.
Not yet. But so he said it's sort of like when you hit one of those, it's like hitting a really good tee shot. You just kind of know it. You just it's good. But he said with like the missed PAT and the 38-yarder, he'd been trying to really drive the ball on his kickoffs to drive it out of the end zone, and he thought maybe he was just driving it a little too much instead of just kicking it. So
did he make the 39-yarder, Tom? Have we decided that? Did he really make it?
He didn't fight for it today,
Okay.
So I don't think. And if you know Drew, he would have probably mentioned that he thought it was good.
Yeah. No, we
So
I got a chance to chat with Drew Stevens. That's one of the things I was up there doing. So you'll hear our one-on-one coming up on the Hawkeye Tailgate Show on Friday. Very well-spoken young man and very confident young man, which is something you need to be as a kicker. Not saying that in a negative way by any stretch. You need to have that confidence as a kicker. So make sure you tune in that on Friday as well. I want to go back to Gronowski for a second. What was the – I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this. What was the overall theme of that media session with him? And how was he? I mean, obviously he played better. I think there was a step forward, but I think there's probably still some out there as well. Was it so far so good and moving forward? Or how did he evaluate his game and the way he played after looking at tape and seeing the things that maybe he didn't see right away after the game on Saturday?
yeah, he didn't talk a lot about the last game other than the coverage stuff, but he's just pretty confident. He's just pretty relaxed. He's pretty open. He's an open book when he's talking to us, which I think is interesting, that he's just very calm and reserved and I think he gets that there's a lot of eyeballs on him. And maybe that first week he kind of let that get to him, but now he's just kind of, I think, more relaxed in his approach and how he's dealing with things. So he feels pretty good about what they're going to put together this week. He knows it's going to be a challenge, but I think he's pretty confident in what Tim Lester's got planned and hoping that they can get off to a fast start.
Tom, you get Kirk here in a little bit. What and it's funny because you guys always, I don't want to say no, it's not like you guys get together and chat about how we're going to talk to Kirk and stuff, but what do you think, what do you expect about, what is it, 40 minutes from now or whatever, what do you expect to hear from Kirk? Like, do you think we're going to talk a lot about what happened Saturday? Do you think he's not going to allow that and kind of say, let's turn the page? Is it more about Rutgers right now and the start of Big Ten play and all those kind of things?
Yeah, it was like last week, I don't really know that anybody even asked him about
it. Was weird.
Number 206. So I don't know that it'll still continue to be a story. I don't think it will. Maybe ask him about, hey, who's the most interesting text you got or whatever, or unique text or phone call or something that you got from somebody you weren't expecting. That's always interesting. But I think he'll talk about Rutgers and about Friday night game and going up against Greg Schiano, who I know he has a lot of respect for. One of their co-defensive coordinators is Rob Smith, who, interestingly, was a graduate assistant on Kirk's first 3 years at Iowa. So it's a guy who knew Kirk all the way back when he was just getting started here at Iowa. So it's kind of a little full circle thing for him and for Rob. Rob's been bounced around. He's been at Rutgers before this. He was at Arkansas. He's been around the block a little bit as a DC, but I know a guy that Kirk really liked when he was at Iowa.
I know you'll get injury updates coming up soon. What do we know? What do we expect? Is a Kamari Moulton return expected?
That's the big one. That's the big one to find out is Kamari going to play or not. So we'll find that out shortly. And if he is, then I think he's going to play and probably going to play a good amount. I'm really curious to see how this running back group sorts itself out, because I don't think we have any idea how it's going to sort itself out. But there's a reason why Kamari was the top running back this year. So we'll see what he can do.
Is it lack of somebody taking the bull by the horns, or is it the fact that everybody's shown something, or is it somewhere in between when it comes to that running back position?
Yeah, I think it's more that guys have shown something, whether it was Xavier Williams or Jazz Patterson. McNeil looked really good and again, it was in kind of garbage time, but still, I thought he performed pretty well on Saturday night against UMass. So everybody's kind of had a chance. The only guy that really hasn't kind of jumped off is probably TJ Washington, because I thought Kamari had a couple of good reps before he got sidelined.
No, I would agree. Tom Kakert joining us right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. I know you got to run here soon. I don't know if we're going to chat again this week because you got to fly and all that kind of stuff. So let's talk about Rutgers real quick. And you're one of those, and I'm not patting you on the back, so everybody relax, but I'm going to be nice to Tom for a second. You're one of those guys that goes to every road game. So you're on your way to Rutgers. It's Rutgers. When I talked to Drew Stevens today, he's like, I was surprised that it was as good of an environment as it was last time. I thought it was kind of good. What is it like out there? I know it's a Friday night, so that maybe the night thing helps things. Is it, be honest, like what's Rutgers football like? We've never been. Most of us never been. Most of us never probably want to go. What is Rutgers home football like?
I hope they still play the Sopranos theme. They usually play that at some point. James Gandolfini was a big Rutgers fan, so that will always get me going. Little Sopranos.
There you go.
Note, but it's a blackout for them, so I think they're expecting a big crowd and a lot of crowd support, and they're pretty pumped. I mean, they're undefeated. They haven't. Ohio was their biggest win, and Ohio came back on them. They've got 3 really talented receivers. Ethan Kalikmanis is their quarterback, and he's a guy that Iowa's seen before. He started twice against the Hawkeyes when he was at Minnesota. So he's been around for a good chunk of time. So we'll see, what they can do. I feel like Iowa's going to win. I think they're going to be able to run the ball. That's just my guess right now. Here's a wild stat that Rutgers shared. They've scored over 30 points in 7 straight games.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a wild stat, isn't it? Yeah. So that's something to watch.
Is that all with Kaliak Manis?
Yes. He's been their quarterback
year number
since
27 for him.
I know. I joked it was like this 10th year. Or 10th time he's faced Iowa or something, and just because he seemed like he was at Minnesota for a long time, and he really was only their starter for 2 years.
It feels like he was there during COVID. I know he wasn't, but it feels like that's how long ago he's been there. But no, obviously he's running a good offense.
I think that was like Tanner Morgan that was the quarterback back then. But I think Kakmanis was around, and maybe that's where we kind of thought of him. But yeah, they're throwing the ball more. He's averaging almost 279, I think, something like that a game in the air. So they are throwing the ball around. They've got 3 really good receivers. Now, here's some key injuries. I think they're on their 3rd left tackle. They're beaten up there. Ian Strong, they're probably their best wide receiver, is dinged up and don't know if he's going to play. It seems very questionable that he's going to play. So they've got some question marks medically, and they've got 3 really good receivers. If they're down to 2, it makes life a little bit easier probably for Iowa.
Tom, last week we talked and you were on the show and you said I think Gronowski goes for over 225 and 3 touchdowns. And he did have 3 touchdowns. One was on the ground. And he would have thrown for 225 easily if he would have played more than 2.5 quarters. So I think you were kind of right. And I think you
didn't have a couple drops. Didn't
you call Weegent as well? So
I think I did.
With that being said, what you got? You got what do you give? Got a little morsel, a little something for the.
Nothing this early in the week. I don't have anything this early in the week yet. But I think Iowa's going to win. I think Iowa's going to win. I don't think there's a world in which Rutgers scores 30 points on Phil Parker.
No, I don't. I would agree with that as well.
I think Phil might make all the defensive players walk back to Iowa if they give up 30. So.
We were struggling to figure out where the pressure was after week 2 on the quarterback, and we got what we got last week. Now we're wondering where the takeaways are. Am I crazy to think they get 2 takeaways in this game? Minimum?
Well, the last time they played there, they got takeaways.
Yeah, they had that guy named Cooper DeJean. He was pretty good at them.
Cooper DeJean might be good.
Are they missing a playmaker back there? Or it just hasn't happened?
So. Yeah, I think it's more they're missing that dynamic guy. back there that can make those plays. And, Josh Jackson or Cooper Jean, Cooper just, flat out could make plays. I mean, we were talking about that with, that Minnesota game, because there's, Cal McManus is from Minnesota, and myself and another writer were talking about that with like the game where Mo Ibrahim was just running and running and running, and they had like 220 yards or whatever, and then that Jack Campbell guy just stepped up and said, "I'm done watching you run. I'm going to take the ball from you," and then he intercepted a pass too, or I think it was an interception, and almost ran it back did run it back, I thought, right? Remember that play?
Oh, yeah.
He didn't step out of bounds.
No, he did not at all.
That's just where I'm at with, that you need those guys, and they haven't emerged yet. They can emerge, so we'll see if they emerge this week.
Cohen and Tringer, 2 takeaways.
Sounds good.
All right.
Like
I know you have work to do. You got an Iowa victory, all that kind of stuff. Tell everyone I said hi, and enjoy. We might catch up before you leave, but we got our Tom Kakert take, and I love the fact that. So people that are wondering if Kamari Melton is in or out, stay on X. Keep watching us, and then keep checking Tom. I'll keep checking Tom as well, and we'll kind of update some injury stuff here in a second. So, all right, Tommy, get back to work. All right.
All right. Thank you.
All right. See you, buddy. That is Tom Kakert joining us from the press box. He should be sitting in the radio booth is where he should have been doing this. I should have demanded it, but I didn't do that. So some good information from Tom. Always great to get the players this time of year on a Tuesday morning, kind of get their vibe as they get ready. One thing I learned today talking to people is, and I've tried to do this whole like, hey, it's the start of Big Ten play. Like, what's the difference? And like, I know it's cliche for them, but there's not a difference. Like, they'll tell you to a man, like every game is the same. So, and you really get that vibe with Iowa. So, we will stick with the Hawkeye theme to start our Tuesday. Coming up next, another guy who's got to get on the road early this week, and head out to Rutgers. I think the radio group's heading out on Thursday. So Pat will be getting the road soon. So our weekly discussion with the one and only Pat Angerer coming up right after the break. You're watching Off the Air, a little special time, a little Tuesday afternoon edition. We'll be right back. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak, with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo, now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities, a late edition of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo up in Iowa City for some radio responsibilities this morning. So a little later show, but plenty to get to. And speaking of radio responsibilities when it comes to the University of Iowa, there is none greater than the man that joins me on his fancy porch on a Tuesday afternoon. You got a good life, don't you?
It's not Tuesday afternoon, but I'll let you continue to lie to the fans.
Pat, we're not taping this early. This is as live as live can be. How are you, my friend? How's your Tuesday going?
It's good, man. I'm getting the kids ready for school and getting all that going on.
How is that? Is it as fun in your house as it is in the Randazzo household every day?
You know what? The boys, it's not too bad. The boys get up, they get going, they're squared away. The daughter, she takes a little bit more time, but yeah, it's really not terrible. They're pretty self-sufficient.
It's horrible here. My kids.
Yeah, you got four boys. I can't imagine.
I mean, they're fighting. You got to separate. The beauty part is my oldest now kind of gets up, or he'll either have like baseball or something in the morning that he has to go to, so he'll be out of the house, which eliminates one person, which is awesome. I don't want to. I have to talk to you about Kirk, but it feels like I think I've interviewed you legitimately 4 times about Kirk. So I don't want to but we have to. So because it happened now. What were your emotions on Saturday night watching him and also listening to him? I think the beauty part was that interview with Anthony Herron after the game and the entire stadium could hear it. But what were your emotions on Saturday night like?
Yeah, I expected Coach to be a little bit more emotional, but I think he had prepared himself for it. So I was able to hold it in, which was good. I thought having Anthony Herron do the interview was super cool. I mean, how awesome. Guy that was a part of his first win. I think that's the coolest thing ever. And what got me a little bit was the swarm, the guys letting him in on the swarm. Like that was really cool. And then I'm like, God, we're so stupid. Why didn't we think of that when we were playing? You know, like it was just, but that was a really cool deal, and yeah, it was just a fun night. It was a good night of football, and the celebration was great. And I know it's funny, not funny, but like I just didn't even think about Dolph's been there for every single one.
Isn't that awesome?
Every single one.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. Did you get to talk to Kirk? Have you talked to Kirk? What was your Saturday night like? Did you guys have him on the post? I'm assuming I should know this as a member of the media and of the radio team, but I was busy working. But what was that conversation like, and your conversations with Kirk after the game?
No, yes, we always have him on if you've listened to our post game show. But no, it was just we're talking. I actually asked him about having Anthony interview him, how cool that was, and he's like, yeah, it was great. He's like, it's great seeing all of his players succeed and move up and become men. And yeah, he's just a lot of reminiscing, over the years. And it was really cool. And I think there was just a sense of relief with Coach just to kind of get that scored away. And now it's time to move on to more wins and yeah, probably be done talking about it, hopefully for him, which he doesn't want to be talking about it anymore. So
yeah, no, I get you. I should listen to the post game show sometimes. I'll get to do that one of these times too.
You're too worried about your post pod or whatever you do.
Last Kirk question for you. I loved going home and of course focusing on the road, but maybe scrolling a little bit and seeing player after player after player after player talk about Kirk Ferentz. And I think that was the cool thing for me because everybody, it's just so hard to find a guy, any former player that just doesn't love Kirk. Is that what's cool about you? And you're one of those former players. You guys just adore the guy, and not just the coach, but the guy. Is that what's awesome about Kirk? Is the human being side of things for him?
Yeah, I mean it's one of the many things that's great about him. I mean he gave all of us a chance. He believed in all of us and held us accountable and pushed us to be better than we ever thought we were. And I'm sure there's some players out there that don't like him, but I guarantee you they're not successful at all in life, and there's probably a reason. But yeah, if you don't like Coach Ferentz, you got something wrong with you.
I would agree. Pat Anger joining us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Hey, there was a football game on Saturday.
Yeah,
and that's the fun part is that it's almost got covered over because of Kirk. The offense looked a lot better. They came out and threw the football. I think it was by design. What do you take out of the offense first when it came to Saturday night at Kinnick Stadium?
Yeah, they did a lot of good things. And they should have, right? With the opponent, they should have. I thought it was really cool for them. I mean, they could have literally lined up and ran the ball for 500 yards. And they're like, hey, we're going to work on the pass. We're going to work on our timing. What came out scored 2 or 3 plays. That was really cool. And it looked great. They did exactly what they should have done and what they needed to do going into the Big Ten tournament or Big Ten play, not Big Ten tournament.
No tournament yet. That's basketball, Pat.
That's my on. Doesn't On3 own that? Is that what the deal is?
I think they own everything now. Did you know that? I think On3 owns everything, which is a beautiful thing. Pat Anger joining us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Gronowski looked better. You mentioned working on timing, and you're right. They could have probably done whatever they wanted to do, but he was a little behind when it came to missing spring and all those kind of things. I know you're a defensive guy, but that stuff makes a difference. Was it nice to see him and there were some drops. I don't want to but his percentage was good without the drops. Kind of talk about that kind of thing, because it looked nice to see it click, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and I think I'm happy for him because I know how much he wants to do well and how hard that he works. And he's a good kid and he's a good Hawkeye. I think that Mark has improved every single game. And I'm impressed every time that he steps on the field because he's out there, he's competing, he's being a leader, he's using his legs, using his arms. I'm really looking forward to watching him this weekend and watching how he progresses. And I think one of the things too is our receivers are learning about him and our staff is learning about him, and they're all kind of learning about each other. And it's kind of a good point right now to be where they're at because Rutgers is going to be tough, and I think we're clicking about as good as we can.
Last one on last game, the defense, and they seemed more opportunistic. They're really good. And they got to the quarterback, which was really good to see. It's weird that this team hasn't taken the football away yet. Is that something as an old defensive guy that you're want to see some more of, or are you worried about that? Or are you shut up, Dazzo, they know what they're doing, you're an idiot?
I think it'll come. I think it's something to where if you just keep playing hard and doing your job, run the ball, it's going to happen. I don't think Rutgers has any giveaways at all up to this point. So, which means they're going to have about 12 this weekend. They're due. What I liked about them on Saturday was that I think we won on first and second down a lot more than we have in the past, not in the past, but a lot more than we did against Iowa State. Which allowed us to really get after the quarterback. Our D-line their stunts were phenomenal. They were getting there. Our linebackers were showing blitzes one side, coming on the other. And it was just it was fun to watch. They flew around and played hard.
No, they looked really, really good. Big Ten tournament starts on Friday, or
yeah,
Big Ten
let's go.
Play starts on Friday. Before we talk about Rutgers, what is this like? We talked to Tom Kakert earlier, and he can give us X's and O's and notes of media stuff, but he's never done it. You've done it. What is the difference? I've never done it. I'm not making fun of Tommy. What is the difference in Big Ten play? It's different, isn't it? I
don't know. I mean, you're playing an opponent that knows a lot about you. I guess. Yeah. I mean, every game you're trying the same. It's not like, I don't know. It's not like necessarily playoffs in playoffs in the NFL. That's different. The lights are brighter. It's weird. It's a lot different. I don't know. Every game's a freaking same, and every game matters. So yeah, we're gonna go try to beat Rutgers like we tried to beat UMass.
Is it?
No.
Big Ten play starts.
Answer, but.
No, I get you. I understand it. Big Ten play starts, and it's you're waiting for Minnesota or Wisconsin or somebody come rolling along. And I'm being very respectful. Is it different? It's still weird to me that it's Rutgers. I'm old. I guess that's probably why. What do we know about Rutgers? What do we expect? Obviously, Coach has got a lot of respect for their program and what they do. What do you know about Rutgers coming up on Friday?
I mean, I've watched a little bit of tape on them. Defensively, they do a lot of stunts with their D line. They do a lot of pressures with their linebackers, safeties. Very active. They play hard. Their secondary makes some plays. Offensively, they've got speed. They'll get to the outside. They like inside-outside zone. They like cram. They like deep crosses, play action. They put up a lot of points. I want to say they're at like 45 or 46 points per game right now. But also, it's like who have they played? So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting game. It's a tough game. They're undefeated, and we've got to play good. And they've done a good job of time of possession as well. They've haven't turned the ball over. I don't think. I know they at least haven't thrown an interception, but they haven't turned the ball over in that way. But yeah, I mean, it'll be a tough game. You're going into their home. It's always tough when you play out there, Rutgers or Maryland or anything like that, because there's always 250 people in the stands. Like, it's not, an exciting, big jam-packed night. Hopefully it will be, because it's Friday, and our guys can go out there and put on a show.
Big picture before I let you go. I'm in a good spot with this team right now. No one cares what I think, but I like the way they played against UMass. I thought I didn't overreact to Iowa State. I'm more along the lines of you, where it's a good football team and they lost on the road by 3.
Yeah.
Let's pump the
People
brakes.
don't like to hear that. People don't like to hear that.
Yeah. So where are you at after 3 weeks with this team? Because I see opportunities to go to Rutgers, get a victory, have a huge game against Indiana possibly the next week, if Indiana, especially if they beat Illinois, and then get a bye week before you start really rocking and rolling. I don't want to put cart ahead of horse. I know it's one game at a time, but where are you at big picture wise when the way you look at this football team, how they're developing, how you feel about them?
Yeah, I mean, they're 2-1. They're doing good things. They've got a lot of talent, and they've got a lot of room for growth. Looking forward to seeing how they compete this weekend against Rutgers, a solid Big Ten team, and then move on from there. I like the guys. I like our crew. I think they're hungry. I think obviously we have a great staff that's going to get them ready to go. And I just like the grit. I like the grittiness of this team. So I'm thinking I'm very hopeful with how they're going to end up this season, and hopefully get some big wins.
What does your week look like before I let you go? You're going to the Big Apple with Corey Sheets and Gary Dolphin, and man alive, like
the Big Apple.
No, I mean, well, around that area. You're going into that. I know what I'm talking about. Trust me, I'm not crazy, but it's right there. Are you planning on enjoying any of the East Coast while you're out there, or is this a business trip for Pat Anger?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, we'll fly out Thursday. I mean, yeah, this week it's work, coach the kids yesterday, work, coach the kids today, work, coach the kids tomorrow, work, and then go fly out Thursday, and and then play the game Friday, fly home, get home at like 3 a.m., and then go coach a football game at like 11 a.m. Like, that's kind of, and then Sunday go coach another football game. Yeah, so this week's a little crazy.
You seem not burdened, but you seem stressed this week. What can we do to help? Like, you seem.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I got a lot going on.
Yeah, you seem like, I don't know, like whether I need to so you're not a big East Coast guy though, are you? Are you going to go see a Broadway show?
I do love Broadway shows. I love them. They're the best. They're amazing. Hopefully. No, probably not. We'll probably land, go hit up a Denny's or something.
Dolph's buying?
I don't know. I might have to buy this weekend. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. Depends where we go. Like, if we go to like an Outback or something, I might not be able to afford it.
I don't know. Outback a good thing or a bad thing? I never know.
I don't know. I like Outback.
If it's not McDonald's, I don't know what it is these days. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So, all right, my friend. Well, you have a busy week. I hope you feel better. You know what I mean?
I got to get my life together, I think.
Hey, how Dolph do yesterday at the Great Club? I feel bad. I didn't make it over. I have this super popular show in the Quad Cities that everybody loves, so I don't want to leave him without that. But how did he do? Did he kill it?
Dolph killed it. Of course, he dominated it. It was super impressive. He's the best. Is
there any stories that he tells that you're like, what's coming?
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that. At that. That works. I get what you're saying. So he's the best. He's the best. And Pat Anger, you're the best as well. Be good, my friend.
You're the best. Have a good one, buddy.
All right, buddy. Well, have a good call out in New Jersey, so people don't know.
Well, I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you before the game.
Oh, that's right. On the Hawkeye Tailgate Show. I listened to that show. I listened to that one. So, all right, friend. Be good.
See you, buddy.
All right. That is Pat Anger joining us here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday afternoon in the Quad Cities. A little radio responsibilities for me early this morning, so I'm a little late start to the show, but better late than never is what they always say. So much more to get to. Coming up after the break, my good friend Larry Hawley will join us. He's our Chicago expert. We'll talk a little Bears, a little Cubs, a little Illini as well, as they got a big game coming up this weekend against Indiana. A lot more to get to. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities.
Give me the keys.
Learning to drive can be stressful for both the student and, yes, the parent as well. Relax. There's an easy way to avoid the stress. Skiles Driving School in East Moline has been helping new drivers hit the road with confidence for over 20 years. Whether you're a teen earning your first license or an adult looking for behind-the-wheel training, we've got you covered. Their certified instructors are patient, experienced, and use modern vehicles equipped for safety and comfort. From classroom instruction to real-world driving, we make learning safe, affordable, and even fun. Call 309-278-0098 or visit skylesdriving.com. Skiles Driving School. Get in, buckle up, drive your future forward.
Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need mobile party experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile party experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your mobile party experience today. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. A little afternoon show here on a Tuesday. Spent my morning in Iowa City getting ready for some radio responsibilities. The Hawkeye Tailgate Show will come your way on Friday night. Remember, the Hawkeyes Friday out at Rutgers will be live at Big Grove Brewery in Iowa City from 5 to 6 with the show. A lot of fun stuff planned for that as well. So make sure you either get up to Iowa City and join us or join us on the Hawkeye Radio Network here in the Quad Cities. It is on Vintage Radio, WQUD 107.7 FM, a new home for the Hawkeyes this year. Of course, we've been talking a lot of football already this week, kind of putting things to rest from last week, looking ahead to next week. And I wasn't too obnoxious yesterday, but I did want to talk a little more Chicago sports. And so I went to my good friend, my Chicago expert, Larry Hawley joins me right now. Larry, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it.
Hey, it's great to be back on here. Thanks for having me, Matt. I do appreciate it always.
Absolutely. Well, I want to talk Cubs, and that's one thing we agree on. So we'll get to them in a second. Yeah. I want to start with the Bears, and I was good yesterday, but I know it's been a frustrating start for Chicago fans. We're here in the Quad Cities. We feel it. I hear it as well. What's it like in Chicago? Is the sky falling? Were the expectations too high? We talked a lot during the preseason that you can't get too high with expectations. It's going to take time. Your thoughts after 2 weeks of Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears?
Well, I think the one thing that probably makes people the most upset is the fact that some old things are creeping up, dropping leads, penalties, not making critical plays, which certainly hurt them against the Vikings. And then you see, against the Lions where you have a solid first quarter and everything falls apart. They can't protect the quarterback. Caleb's having his struggles here and there. You see some, weird calls. You see some missed tackles. You see some inconsistent defense. Guess what? That's what you had in the Matt Eberflus regime. That's what you had in the Matt Nagy regime. You certainly had it in John Fox, even though they were building in the Mark Trestman era. Well, the last 350-point games before on Sunday all came with Mark Trestman coach teams. That is a frustration among Bears fans. I don't know if anybody's ready to jump off the ship yet, but I think it's fair to say that if, there's a lot of people feeling deja vu, and it's hard not to when you get smoked in Detroit like they did. So I think that's where the frustration comes from. I don't think anybody thought they'd be world beaters. I don't think a lot of people would have been surprised they started 0-2. But the fact that they got smoked yesterday and the way they did with a lot of old mistakes that came back is really the most frustrating thing, and probably has created just a sprinkle of doubt in some people in this new regime.
Oh, absolutely. Larry Hawley joining us right now. We're off the air with Matt Randazzo. You look at what the doubt might be, and it takes time. You just mentioned 4 regimes that were just pretty yuck. You don't change things overnight. I'm a big Dan Campbell guy, and his first season they were 3-13-1, and then they started the next season 1-6. People forget about that, and they wanted to throw the baby out with the bathwater then too. I know 2 games is 2 games. It's got to take time. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm not a guy that it's going to work. I don't know. I have questions with Caleb, other things as well, but you can't after 2 games. You hired the guy that everybody wanted, the sure guy, the guy that all the experts said you should. You got to give him some time after what you just mentioned, 30 years of yuck here and there.
Well, yeah, I mean, really, if you think about it, I mean, if you go back to where I consider when the Bears were winning consistently stopped about 1990. So, yeah, you've got about 3 to 4 decades right now of some struggle. I just think it really is the fact that old mistakes creep up. And you thought with Ben Johnson, with the way that he talked in the offseason, a lot of it was about accountability, preventing mistakes. So what happens in the first 2 games, particularly the last 5 quarters, a fair amount of mistakes. And it just gets people frustrated. Again, I don't know if anybody's jumping off the roof. I think some people are doing it when it comes to Caleb Williams, which I think is a very premature. I don't know if anybody's doing with Johnson with yet, but I just think with everything that's gone on, with all that's happened, I think in the past, you're right, a couple decades, I think you're just seeing an amount of frustration with Bears fans. And I think that that's showing up and coming up because, again, it's happening again. It's happening again. It's happening again. And it just drives people crazy.
You mentioned Ben Johnson. You mentioned Caleb Williams and maybe some of the concerns. Give me your concerns. And I know the mistakes are there and those kind of things and the unforced errors, those kind of stuff. But when you look at it, are you more concerned with Caleb? Are you more concerned with the defense, the lack of a pass rush, the back end injuries or something that's now obviously with Johnson going to miss probably the rest of the year? Where do you start ranking concerns after week 2 of the season?
For me, it really does start with the defense, and the injuries are big because I think Jalen Johnson is one of the best at his position in football. And based off the reports today, even if he doesn't have surgery, he's going to be out for a little while. And if he has surgery, there's a fair chance he misses the rest of the season. Or if he does come back, you're talking about December, and he probably only comes back if they're in playoff contention. For me, it's tough to see the defense, again, over the last 5 quarters where you had it against Minnesota, where they really were poor against even the run and the pass. And then you go up against Detroit, and really they didn't really get much momentum at all, period. You allow 52 points. And if you were the Bears, if you were going to have success this year, and you're trying to find ways to get your offense going, which was going to do under a new system with Ben Johnson, you had to have that defense be very, very good. And you had to have them take another step up fairly quickly. A lot of people ask me, why don't you have the optimism for Ben Johnson? Because Matt Nagy won 12 games in his first year. Well, it's very simple. Matt Nagy inherited a defense that was probably in the top 5 of the league. Then they got Khalil Mack, and they were the top defense in the league. Yeah. This Bears defense may have been more talented coming into this season, and they may have had more weapons, and I think Allen adds something to that, but they were not a top 3 unit. You were hoping probably by the end of this year that they might be a top 7 unit, maybe a top 5 unit if everything goes well. If you wanted the Bears to be really good early on, you had to have the defense be shut down. Right now, that's not happening. And right now, Jalen Johnson, a talented cornerback, right now, he is probably out for a fairly long time. Kyler Gordon is out, another talented defensive back. He's out. And you're not getting, as you mentioned, the pass rush that you really were hoping to get for, and you're paying Montez Sweat a lot of money. Those things make it more concerning. I expected growing pains from the offense, and yes, they've had their frustrations, but for me, the defense is a concern, especially those 2 injuries in the secondary, because that could be truly impactful.
A few more Bears questions. I want to talk Cubs, but when you look at Caleb, you mentioned premature, and I do too. I think, it's two different coaches, all of those kind of things. It concerns me, though, that he looks so good on the first drive. Like, I'm a gambler. I'm probably going to bet touchdown first game next year. I mean, when he's scripted and he knows what's coming, and obviously you don't know what's coming, but you know what to expect. He plays really well. The arm talent's there, all that kind of stuff's there. It's after that gets a little sideways. If there are concerns with Caleb, what are they for you right now?
Well, I think maybe the release of the football, I think he still holds on to it a little while. I think he's still got to develop that, maybe that confidence to go ahead and be able to throw it a little quicker. I think he's shown some athleticism. You've got to find a way to balance, kind of when to run and when to stick in the pocket and wait for your receivers to get open. He has that. I think that that to me is kind of what I look at are kind of fundamental things. That's really it. I don't really see... I don't know. For me, I think it's just part of the growth for him. I don't think he's got awfully badly these past couple of weeks. But you're a number 1 overall pick, so a lot of people are expecting big things when it comes to Ben Johnson. I didn't really personally have that. I kind of believe that all quarterbacks, and this is a good rant I have, I can do another time. I believe all quarterbacks have their own path. Yeah, and Caleb's path is going to be a little bit different than others. And I don't think that necessarily this is a case where you've got to panic and think, all right, well, let's trade him. Let's start Bagent. You've got to let him work through these things. And he's working through a new line, and, he's trying to figure out how these pieces all fit. Some people might say that's excuses. There's going to come a time where that will no longer be an excuse. But right now, for me, there's a little bit of give for that because he's still learning the offense. He had a tough rookie year. I don't think he's got awfully bad these first 2 weeks. I think he's had some decent moments. But he is developing. And with that mindset, it's for me more, just being mechanically a little bit better as he tries to build confidence in this offense. At least that's how I see it. You might have more aggressive Bears fans who would say, start Bagent now, and already those calls are happening. But yeah, I don't really agree with it.
Larry, those are silly. You don't take a guy number 1 overall and then just throw it away that quickly. I think that's – but you're right. My quarterback stuff is that, like, you just never know. And it's even 1 to 2. Like, it takes, and nobody wants to say this anymore. I'm old school, maybe a little more like yourself, where it's, you have to give them 3-4 years. I just got done watching last night Baker Mayfield, go 2-0 once again. And that guy was thrown away. I got a guy. Jared Goff was thrown away. He was awful his first year, then good for a few years. Then it just, everything is different. And I watched a guy last night in CJ Stroud, who was going to be an MVP, and not so much. And I'll say the same thing about Daniels this year. It's up and down. You never know. So patience with that.
It's not linear. No, the quarterback path is no longer linear. And I think that's the one thing I wish people would understand. Like, at least the way I view it, nobody's path is the same. No quarterback is the same. Mm-hmm. No quarterback's going to have that perfect, going to have that typical mentality. One thing that I learned, in watching sports through the years, and one thing I really kind of learned, I remember even watching like Dennis Rodman, is every athlete is different and unique, and you embrace them. So just because a quarterback doesn't fit the traditional mold, or doesn't have the same characteristics, or doesn't have the same start, doesn't mean anything. You mentioned Baker Mayfield, and people thought maybe his career would be down. Geno Smith has had a really kind of incredible career here, where from draft day he didn't have things go his way, but yet he's managed to go through there. In Indianapolis, I watched Andrew Luck looked like was going to be the start of a Hall of Fame career, where the Colts were going to probably get a Super Bowl or two. By 2019, he's done. Robert Griffin, has a great start. He deals with some injuries, but yet he ends up being in the league for a long time. Quarterbacks do not have a linear path, and that's why I'm hesitant to go crazy when Caleb Williams has some struggles, or maybe does things a little different, or, things are not as linear as you might have hoped for somebody who has a lot of talent. It's totally different. Everybody has their own path. That's why I'm really shocked to see how much really quick negativity there is on Caleb Williams, because I just don't understand it. He had a really rough first year. He had two coaches calling his offense. He had a head coach that got fired. Now he's getting a new system and a new coach. So I really wouldn't expect Caleb to really explode or blow up or go really crazy when it comes to stats or finding himself probably till the end of this year or next year, to be honest, to be fair with you.
No,
I agree. It's not, there's no easy path. And I'm just shocked more people don't think that way, but I guess that's how I am.
Yeah, no, I agree with it. And I don't think it's any shame tune you give it away or you forget about it. I will say I enjoyed the heck out of Sunday. And with Ben, the question with Ben is up here and calling it is fantastic. It's the culture stuff, and now and not that he can't, but he's got you're not fixing a Band-Aid over something that just went wrong for a few years. This is, and you know it more than anybody, an organizational deep problem. It ran up in Detroit for forever as well. I mean, there's a lot of things culturally that have to be fixed. Let's flip to real quick. I didn't talk enough about him, but I did want to. We're running a little low on time, but Rome Odunze looks outstanding. So there's a lot of people are poking at the negatives. Rome Odunze, who's on my fantasy team, so I can put that out there too, looked really, really good as well. Cubs season. Cubs win last night 4-0. They are 5 back right now, and I think the fact that we're getting to that point now where 5 back, there's still an outside chance, but right now they're in the postseason, 9 up in the wild card. Your thoughts of the Cubs as we get ready for postseason baseball, whatever shape, form it is, and then when does Kyle Tucker come back, those kind of things as the Cubs get ready for the postseason?
There's a lot of questions as to what this team can really do. And, it's amazing because they've been near the top of Major League Baseball when it comes to wins all season long, yet you kind of wonder. Example, I went to the Washington game, not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before, a game in which they had a 3-1 lead. Palencia blows up in the 9th inning and they lose the game. They lose a series to a struggling Nationals team. Tucker is hurt. PCA has come back to earth, as you were. I mean, he was on a, really maybe once in a career heater that he had in the first half. There's just, I think for me, and I think a lot of people wondering what Cub team's going to show up in the postseason. This isn't like 2015 where they broke through and they were surging and you kind of knew, hey, if the right things came together, they might go make the World Series. Like that's how it does. I think there's definitely more mystery here. You look at the Cubs rotation, right now their best pitcher is Horton. I think Cade Horton has done a fantastic job and is probably in the Rookie of the Year conversation at this point. If the Cubs have a wild card game 1 starter, he might be it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you're at. I think there's excitement because they're going to play playoff baseball, barring a pretty hefty collapse. They'll do so at Wrigley Field one way or the other. Most likely being as the top wild card, or if things really fall right, win the division. But they're kind of running out of time for that. So I think there's excitement for that, but there's a lot of mystery, wondering, and maybe even a little doubt as to how far this Cub team, as currently constructed, with the players who are healthy and how they're surging, might be able to go in the postseason.
No, it's funny because you look, Larry, and it's 86-64. I mean, they're getting close to 90 wins, and they're 22 games over 500. But yeah, you just don't know if you. It seems like for me as a Cub fan, it's like a roll of the dice. I'm not going to have, it's going to be fun and I'm going to enjoy it, but if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I don't think there's a lot of people expecting a deep run, but it could be a ton of fun as well if they are going to make that run. And I know pitching in October is super important, all that kind of stuff. Is it finding or guys stepping up and how does it look if the Cubs do make a nice run here in the next, in the postseason?
You have thought about this. There's either two options. Either you have your starters really fire up, and again, don't forget you don't have Justin Steele, who's arguably one of their top starters. You like Cade. Shota's been here and there. Lately, Boyd has been, fairly solid. He's had a couple of good outings here. Obviously, he's had a fantastic year for what was expected. I think for me, you would really have to have that bullpen explode, or you hit the hell out of the baseball and you get Tucker back and he's going crazy. You get PCA back and you're going crazy. Maybe the path for this Cub team is to really find that offense and ride that offense as long as they possibly can. I always went back to the 2021 White Sox, looking at that team back then where I'm like, maybe this team could slug their way to something very special. And I guess it's kind of weird to compare those teams, but I remember saying that where, with that team, Carlos Rodon was hurting, Lance Lynn was doing fine, but he was hurt. You kind of wondered, hey, maybe this team's just going to have to get that offense going, ride that offense, and slug their way to a World Series championship. For me, it kind of relies somewhere in there. I mean, you got to have it all, but I don't know. For me, I think if the Cubs are going to do really well, based off what I've seen, you've really got to find those bats and you really got to get them going, and you win some games 8-7, you win some games 10-8. I think maybe that's the way it goes for me. And you get some solid relief in that back of the bullpen because, again, I don't know what you're going to get out of Palencia. He did not look good. He's injured. So you really got to get something out of them. Like a Keller would have to perform really well as one guy that comes to my mind as being somebody who would have to be shut down, lights out toward the end to make it happen.
Peter Armstrong hit a homer last night. That was fun to see. Hopefully we can get him rocking and rolling. Before I let you go, I got to talk about Illinois every single day this week. We had Prince coming up later this week, Jim Matson coming up later this week. We talked to Mike Higley yesterday. Illinois football is a thing. And Larry, if I told you that, hey, there's a huge showdown between Indiana and Illinois that the entire nation's going to be watching, you'd expect me to be talking to you about a February basketball game, I think, more than a football game. What is it? This is such a big game for Illinois football in the grand scheme of things. Your thoughts heading into a Saturday night showdown on the road, number 9 versus number 19?
Well, it's probably one of the biggest games they've had in the last generation. And I've really thought about it. And, if everything goes right, Matt, this will be one of many games that are their biggest in a generation. And I think the reason it is because, you could look at it, and I think it'd be fair to say it could be a college football playoff elimination game. Whatever team loses here faces a fairly uphill battle, knowing that Penn State, Ohio State, and Oregon right now are looking pretty good. So there's 3 spots in the Big Ten most likely that are gone. This could be an elimination game for them. In my mind, and I don't know if this is correct, I think there's more pressure on IU. IU has made the playoff. They're hosting the game. Some have said this is the biggest game in their program's history. Even though I worked in Indy, I don't know if I can speak to that. I kind of think of the Purdue IU game and, when they went to the Rose Bowl back in the 60s, I believe that was 67. I think it was 67 when they made it, and I think Purdue made it in 66. I think the pressure in many ways is on IU, and it's on Illinois to a degree. But I still think if Illinois or Indiana loses, they have a shot for the playoff. But boy, if Indiana wins, or boy, if Illinois wins, it sure sets up a pretty exciting October and some exciting possibilities. So there's no doubt. In many ways, if you said it's a college football playoff elimination game, you might be right because whoever loses will be forced to run the table and then probably get some luck. Again, based off of the top 3 teams we've seen in the Big Ten who have not flinched so far. Really tremendous and really exciting to think that Illinois is in a game like this, even just 2 years ago, when after that great season in 22, they really kind of slumped a little bit.
Yeah.
Exciting times, man. Exciting times.
No, absolutely. I would agree. And you look at it, Ohio State 1, Penn State 2, Oregon 6. 3 of the top 6 teams in the country come from the Big Ten. So I look at it as a play-in game, not an elimination game. Just because, but you're right. Same concept. There's a handful of teams that want that last berth, and it's crazy we're talking this way in September. But a very, very big game. Larry, I always appreciate your time and your insights. We'll do this again real soon. One of these days, I got to sneak up to Chicago sometime next year. We got to get a beer and watch a Cubs game, something like that. So on me for all you do for the show. We appreciate it. So Larry, be well. Enjoy a crazy September. We'll catch up again real soon.
Awesome, Matt. Always appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Awesome. That is Larry Hawley chatting Chicago sports with us, a little Illinois as well. So much to get to this time of year, but he's exactly right. It's a huge game, a night game, primetime game, NBC, and who would have thunk, 5 years ago, Illinois would be in this position. Heck, who would have thought it 2 years ago? So enjoy it, and it should be a huge weekend for the Fighting Illini. We got more to get to. You're watching Off the Air on a Tuesday right here in the Quad Cities.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities, a little late edition of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Usually we come your way each and every weekday at 10 a.m. Today, 1 p.m. start. I had to head to Iowa City for a few radio responsibilities. A reminder, we will be live from Big Grove Brewery on Friday evening at 5 p.m. Iowa and Rutgers goes head-to-head. We will have your Hawkeye Tailgate Show. A great lineup. Drew Stevens, one-on-one, a press box perspective, and a guest or two along the way. I'm excited to talk about that maybe later in the week as well. So check out the Hawkeye Tailgate Show anywhere you are around the Hawkeye Radio Network or here in the Quad Cities, Vintage 107.7 WQUD to check out that on Friday. So anyways, a later start today here on a Tuesday. We'll do that several times on Tuesdays this year as we kind of get through the football season, then back to normal, back to all of our 10 o'clock starts. So tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., we'll be back at it again. Tomorrow is usually our Cyclone Wednesdays. I know Iowa State is on a bye week this week, but we'll check up and check in, if that makes any sense, with Jake Bren tomorrow. Also, tomorrow, our weekly Nest Guest segment from a Hungry Hobo. We're going to go to Browning Field Hungry Hobo later on this evening, and Mark Nessler and myself will kind of talk a little Nest Guests, and we want to thank everyone who partook in Nest Guests last week. The numbers grew once again. Super easy. Head to my social media, click the link, fill out your picks. You win great prizes from Hungry Hobo. Proud to be an exclusive sponsor of the Nest Guests promotion. So we'll do that tomorrow as well. Ty Taylor, I believe, tomorrow. I got to bug him and make sure I even vacuumed earlier today over here. So hopefully we can get Ty Taylor in studio with me tomorrow, and maybe Kyle Huseman as well. Kyle, great stuff. He sat down with Jan Jensen. I think it was yesterday. Has some really good stuff after her first season at the University of Iowa. So maybe Kyle Huseman tomorrow as well. Bunch of stuff to get to. So a full show again tomorrow. We want to thank our guests today. Tom Kakert joining us live from the press box in Iowa City. We had players at 11. Kirk is talking, probably wrapping up as we speak. Some news and notes out of that Chad Leistico and Tom Kakert and everybody just tweeted out Kamari Moulton back practicing. He'll be back against Rutgers. But Xavier Williams will be out for a couple weeks. So get one healthy running back in, you lose one. A lot of depth at the running back position. And I think there's a reason why Kamari Moulton was number one coming into the season. So we'll see if he can take things and run with it starting at Rutgers on Friday night. I also want to thank Pat Anger. I had a few people in the chat ask, does Pat ever work? It's a great question. I don't know. But I'm glad he works with me. And when it comes to doing the show and all those kind of things as well. So we appreciate Pat's insight as well. And then Larry Hawley, some great stuff when it comes to the Bears. We're going to continue to talk about the Bears. And it's funny because all those Bears guys, and you know who you are, and you know you still listen to the show and you still watch the show, but everybody who comes at me on social media all summer long, anytime I even questioned anything about the Bears, like they were all at me, and now they're quiet as can be. So keep the conversation going. It's okay to say, hey, Daz, you're right. Help me learn. No, I'm just kidding. But keep it going. I love those kind of things. So we'll see how the Bears react. They're back at it against the Cowboys. Really interesting game on Sunday. That's why I love my Sunday, is because I don't have Lions to deal with because they're Monday night, and I don't have Iowa really to deal with on Saturday because they play Friday night. So I actually get a little weekend where I can watch some college football. I can actually watch the Illinois-Indiana game in prime time. There's also wrestling on Saturday as well, though. And then on Sunday, I can maybe watch the little Bears-Cowboys at 3 p.m. I think is when it is, 3 p.m. I should look. But anyways, thank you to Larry. Also, Larry Hawley as well. The Cubs getting close to and locking up a postseason berth, and that should not be taken for granted, obviously. So, yeah, great to chat with him as well. So, once again, we are taking the show on the road come Friday. We'll be over at Assumption. God, I hope it's not 98 degrees like it feels like it is right now out there. I think it's supposed to cool down a little bit this weekend, but we'll take the mobile party experience and the party trailer over to Assumption High School coming up on Friday, and we'll do the show on the road there. That's going to be a bunch of fun. Talked to Wade King already. He's all fired up. He's going to move his naps around in the morning so he can join us and all those kind of things. So it'll be a lot of fun. So anyways, thank you guys for joining us on a later edition of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Again, thank you for the support, for checking out the show, whatever and however you do it, YouTube, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. Podcast form. We appreciate it. We thank our sponsors as always as well. And we'll be back with a jam-packed show once again here tomorrow. Have a great Tuesday, guys. We'll see you back here on Wednesday.